a 6-page speech
Wow.
for over 350 graduates of the Accra Business School
Mm-hmm.
who were graduating in various programs, MBA.
Mm-hmm.
And the topic was such a strange topic. They
Yeah.
said alternative to IMF conditionalities,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And it's interesting because IMF conditionalities are grouped into three. There are prior actions that have already been done. So there's no alternative, it's already gone.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are like numerical benchmarks, numerical targets that have to be met,
Mm-hmm.
specific numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's something called structural benchmarks that you also have to take actions to. So, yeah, I shared my views, and I think I've shared some of the views here already. I was saying that, look, the fact that we've gone to the IMF 17 or 18 times, and the fact that over 21 countries in Africa are going to IMF around this time should tell you that what is happening is much deeper than simply fiscal mismanagement. And I'm not trying to absolve any government. What I'm saying is that there are structural issues, there are deep, deep structural issues that if you don't address, you will keep going back, right? Because if every president in the Fourth Republic has visited the IMF, Rawlings went, Kufuor went, Mills went, Mahama went, Akufo-Addo went. Whoever wins 2024 may go if you don't deal with those deep-seated issues. And the arguments I've made on this show before, that I think the major problem is the dollarization of the economy. 70% of our debt is in dollars, our external debt. We are most exposed to the dollar. Most of the people who come here in the name of FDI and investment are mostly going to repatriate their monies in dollars anyway. So the pressure on the dollar leads to exchange rate instability, which fuels inflation and leads to a whole lot of problems. It cleans out our reserves. So the starting point is to de-dollarize the economy. You can't do that if you keep eating imported food, right? Yesterday, a friend of mine sent me a long list of. So I'll give you two things. I buy a certain drink for my household, and yesterday we couldn't get the drink. Now the drink is manufactured by a Ghanaian company. The company says they've stopped production of the drink because the major raw materials they import to use to produce this drink, i.e. sugar, the price doesn't make sense. So they're not able to produce in a way that can make them a profit. So when they look at it,
I remember Samens making this point 2 weeks ago, if I remember. Let me correct it.
So they are saying that the cost of raw material, and the cost of raw material is pushed by a number of things. The dollar, because you are importing it. Then the port charges, which are dollar indexed. Then the taxes, excise tax and all those taxes. So they basically have stopped a whole line of production because they cannot get the raw material. So a country like Ghana should strive for food sovereignty. So Commander Sugar Factory should not be in the state it's in. All right. So that was my first argument, that if you don't, and it said nobody can put a gun to your head and say eat somebody's food. You can eat your own food, like the way you sing your EP church songs. I can't force you to eat KFC if you want to eat Apim, which is one of the things we have not done. So our import-driven economy is killing us. Then second one, energy sovereignty. Same point. You have crude that you export raw. Look at Nigeria. For almost 50 years, they've been exporting raw crude and importing finished product. Now Dangote has gotten into refinery. Right? Now, the petrodollar will weaken your currency, will weaken your country. So you have to find a way of producing power that doesn't always require you to buy fuel from abroad. This is basic. If we don't solve these problems, we can do macroeconomic, all these things, it's not going to work. And then we need to do value-added manufacturing. We need to train people in polytechnics. So that was my argument, that these are more structural things we must do in addition to keeping the economy running the way it runs. So that was the summary of the article. Later on, you would hear from Dr. Medina, who's the resident rep of the IMF, speaking to us. I wanted to just read something else to you in relation to this. Godfred, I know you have some questions. I want to read something to you. So this thing was sent to me by a manufacturer. Yes, and usually when people send you messages at night, it means that they can't sleep. So when you wake up in the morning, you come and read it. He said, Bernard, retail carton price of the following products. He starts listing products. Now, before that, he says prices of drinks, especially in the juices, have changed in the market as a result of the new taxes. For example, prices have changed per crate of 24 from 61.50 to 72.5 for Calipo at wholesale. and at retail from 72 to 84. Now, this is not inflation. You know, in the past, we did a show about food price and inflation. This is tax-induced price changes. So a carton or a crate of Calipo wholesale from 61 to 72, retail from 72 to 84. Frutelli was 93. It's now 112 for a crate of 6. All Belacqua products have also increased. So are Gihok products. Then he goes on. Bernard, I think we should take a deeper look into the call of Jospon to ban the importation of rice. Then he keeps going on. He says, retail carton price of the following products have gone up. Series, pre-exercise 270, post-exercise 324. Right? Now you did math. Ratio, look at the proportion. 270 to 324. Right? That's how many? 54 CDs increase. Don Simon, pre-exercise 240, post-exercise 288. That's 48 CD increase. Malta Guinness, 12 by 350 ml, PET bottle, pre-exercise 70, post-exercise 71.75, exercise duty 2.5. Malta Guinness can, pre-exercise 165 for 24 piece, post-exercise 169. Belacqua water. The guy calculated all these things in the night and sent it to me. Water, 15 times 500 ml, pre-exercise 9, 19, post-exercise 19.5. He calculates everything, you know. And then he talks about the fact that Sirius and Don Simon prices increase are higher because they will increase by more than 20% and they will compute excise duty on CIF value. Lots of complications in that sector. So they want us to talk about the effect of the new taxes on people. And what I'm saying is that you have taxes already worsening a bad situation of imported inflation. Because once your currency depreciates and you're importing most of the things you use, you need those dollars. Yesterday, we found out that Ghana's importation of food is 2 billion a year.
Oh.
2 billion a year.
Dollars or cedis?
Dollars!
Yeah. Oh,
all kinds of food, sugar and everything together is 2 billion a year. And then when you add the importation of finished product, it's 1 billion. So food and finished products is 3 billion. The same amount IMF is giving us.
Ooh.
For 3 years. We use that in a year. So you see, if you invest 15 billion cedis in a program that you say is supposed to make us food sufficient, and then you say there's no fertilizer, so we can't see the effect of that product, and the new ministry says they want to even review it. Do you understand? What is the effect of the injection into PFJ on our food sufficiency? That's the question we should be asking. So we don't have to pay lip. These are national security imperatives. This in fact, it shouldn't even be it shouldn't even be in a campaign speech. Do you understand? You shouldn't campaign that you make Ghana food self-sufficient. It's common sense. You should campaign about other things. But because we have sunk so low, the things that we ought to even do, now we are even making like a campaign message. Every serious country makes sure that some level of sovereignty is found in food. And Ghana's exposure to the US dollar is particularly notorious because we like foreign things. And it puts too much pressure on the country. So the issue of IMF and economic sovereignty cannot be delinked. As we sit here, one of our commitments, look at this. The Bank of Ghana signed an MOU. Look at it too. A sovereign country, Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana has signed an MOU that the Ministry of Finance will not take any money from the from the BOG for the 3 years period, and it's a prior action. Now, I'm not saying BOG should just wantonly fund the, but you see, Sky, if your debts are domestic debts, right? A country that has domestic currency debts for work done. So, for example, if a contractor does a road, the road that the person sent, if a local contractor does a road using local materials and it's not exposed to the dollar, you can find domestic resources. And according to modern monetary theory, you can raise domestic money to pay the guy. It's when your debts are increasingly external, dollar denominated, that you need to raise taxes, you need to borrow, or you need to go into your reserves to pay for those debts. So it's not advisable for a country to incur lots of debt in foreign currency. You see, that's why Scandinavian countries, America, and all these, Canada and those people, when they have an economic crisis, what do? They just create money to pay because they are monetarily sovereign. How did they become monetarily sovereign? They are able to their dependence on external debt. US government will not go and borrow Chinese yuan. Okay, so what I'm saying is that if we don't tackle the issue of dollarization and the over-dependence on imports, we will never be economically developed. So there must be a conscious effort to reduce our exposure to the market, which is why I was alarmed when I heard somebody say, we'll go back to the market. Right? That market is what enslaves you. So what you do is you make sure that your citizens don't spend scarce dollars. Use your dollars to buy inputs into your factories so that your factory will do better. Not to buy rice and eat from Vietnam. You don't use dollars to buy rice from Vietnam. Oh, let them plant the rice at Fumbisi or at Afipe. Eat Afipe rice and use your dollars to buy inputs that will help you fix your machines in your factories. Because that one, you don't have an advantage. But don't spend 2 billion importing food. Work on your refinery so that you don't export raw material and then you import finished product. And every year, BDC, TOR, MPA. So once there's a small change in the dollar, no FX, then they raise so now your petrol that you are using every week is going up. It's because you are depending on another country's currency. You see, and a country must, and this is something we must strive for collectively. And I feel like this is not something, our policy thinkers, either they don't care or they feel like it's become a habit. Cocoa board. Why should you go and raise credit in dollars to buy cocoa from Ghanaian cocoa producers and then wait for 6 months to get payment for the cocoa you sell? It doesn't make sense. And you've been doing it as a habit for like 30 years. Cocoa board syndicated loan. What's that? Why do you keep doing that? Why do you keep doing that? Meanwhile, you can add value to your cocoa, ensure that Ghanaians consume more chocolate products, take advantage of AFTA, and export high-quality Ghanaian cocoa powder, Ghanaian, for instance, Milo and things to other African countries, and get foreign currency to do stuff. But you rather spend your foreign currency importing juices from South Africa, importing chocolate drinks from different places, Coca-Cola from Morocco, and you clog your port with cheap imports. Drive to any corner shop. Most of the drinks that they are even selling there are imported. So we should even be happy for companies like Belacqua and things who even produce drinks here. You are importing basic things to eat. And every year, your currency is falling because you need more dollars. Then you go to Eurobond market, go and collect $1 billion and use it to prop up the currency for 6 months. And say, oh, we have dealt the dollar. The cedi is in our pocket. When the reserves of dollars runs out, the cedi starts falling again. Then you go and pursue FDI. In March, all the companies repatriate their money back to their headquarters because they come and earn money in cedis and then convert it to dollars. So they come and lend to you in cedis. They convert their profit into dollars and send it back to wherever they are going. And then every March, your currency falls again. And then you import inflation again. Then you have the highest interest rate regime in the world. Then they say you have macro stability. Then you go to the IMF. Then the IMF comes and tells you what to do. Then you start the whole process again. Why do you keep doing that? You get me? So we are paying lip service to the problems. And the challenge is that we are not able to stop the rot. You know, it's a big issue for me. And I don't want to go into the technical discussions around that topic because it's an early morning. But guys, honestly speaking, I am disappointed with our economic handlers over the years. And I think they need to really rethink our economic model. Honestly, they need to do that. They need to rethink our economic model. Let's do tech and social media trends.